We're back with the lovely Keisha Gay Anderson. Keisha, when and why the shift to writing and publishing your poetry book, Circle Unbroken?
Yes. Okay. So we were just talking about my time working with Bill Moyers and TV's project work. The project ended, and I just had this need to. I kept writing poetry. I used to go to readings. I was at the New Eurekan. I remember first time at the New Eurekan, waiting till 2 a.m. for the open mic, because it was a need. Something was saying, you got to do this, and I had to overcome my fear, of going on that stage, and I did. But so when the project ended, I said, you know what, I can publish my book. Now looking back, I may not necessarily would have advised it, because you need an editor. You do need an editor, and it's hard, but I did it. And I went to book fairs and I sold it, and I had fun with it, and I did it. So I said, this is my most essential self, is this writer. And I had always been told my whole life, you can't make money from that. So I think that was blocking me. Now, there's truth to that. It is hard, but you have to find a way to work it into your life. So gradually, I said, I have to make this is serious. This is a serious thing, This is my serious dream,
It's interesting that you said serious. I have a friend, an editor, Cara Taylor, Carl, mentioned to me once, she said, Selwyn, the day you stop treating writing as a hobby and more like a business and serious, you will see how your whole life will change.
That's right.
If you give it the same kind of seriousness you give your broadcasting,
Right.
You'll be an amazing writer. So, yeah, I think you're right on that.
And it's not to say it's easy, because I still have to work. I still have to, and I learn things from my job, and it all adds to my life. But yeah.
Which poem, right, has been or would have been the most taxing emotionally for you to write?
There's one that I did write about, and I've published an essay about this incident in my life, about a sexual assault, and the poem deals with telling my mother about that as a early 20-something woman.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that's difficult to read, but if it can help people,
Is that big for you? Whatever you do, I mean, helping someone, empowering someone with the choices you make or
Absolutely.
the path you choose.
Absolutely, that's what it's about. What else are we here doing? What else are we doing? Because if someone is a potential knucklehead and something I have written can help them not to go out and harm somebody or harm me,
Yes.
then you have done something good for society. It's like any other form of therapy or healing. I say it's healing.
Your writing, having been in all these places, like writing the Caribbean, the Killings, reviews of arts and letters and so on. What does that say? What do you believe that says about you?
Well, I definitely take myself seriously as a writer, and doing so, you should try to publish in publications, in journals, so that not only the general audience gets to experience your work, but your peers, because when your peers in the writing community weigh in on what you do, then you can get better. And this is how we help each other.
To get published in some of these publications?
There's no science to that. And it's like, I remember when I was first trying, I used to ask people, and they couldn't really tell me because it's different for everyone. And I used to think people were just being secretive. But really, it's like this. It's like you go read someplace, someone's in the audience, and they say, hey, I edit this thing. Would you like to send in? Things happen that way. You definitely, they have submission periods, and you should submit. Follow the guidelines. A lot of people don't really read the guidelines. You're not respecting the publication. You got to know what they publish, right? So you win some, you lose some. But I constantly send my work out, not just to Caribbean publications or Black, but I send it all over the place.
So you've learned a lot along the way.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't learn anything, it's like wasted. It's like, what are you doing? You have to learn something.
Tell us about Gathering the Waters. And how did you come up with that name?
Well, it's interesting because when I was talking with my publisher, when we were nearing the end of the process, we were trying to.
I'm just gonna put it on the screen here so people can see what
Okay.
it looks like. Yeah.
We were looking at, like, I had like 25 to 30 lines from different poems in the book, and none of them really seemed to really fit. And this phrase here, it's not in the book. Gathering the Waters is not a line from any poem I've ever written. It's just an idea. And the idea is, I look at us and our experiences and our collective experiences of our ancestors, us, and those who have yet to come, as like a network of rivers, right? And if all those rivers come together and they go into the ocean, and there's a big wave, you can knock any obstacle down. Water is not weak. Water is very strong. I think water is the strongest thing on the planet. The planet's mostly water. You know what I mean? So we have to, and I like the symbolism of water because there's no beginning and no end to it. So you can access that which you are a part of. You're a part of, this is your heritage. You have to get in touch and know. I know it's hard for us in the Caribbean to find out about our families and where we come from, especially as that link was broken during slavery, and we're still mourning that, and we don't even know it, So I think we need to, as much as possible, try to reconnect whatever got broken, And I have my novel envisions, what would the ancestor come back, the one who feels responsible for having broken that link or not paying attention or having not, and then someone gets sold away. What would she try to do 5 generations later to help the ones who are now in North America struggling, disconnected? How would she try to communicate, and affect people's lives? Because to some extent, I just believe that that's just what's happening. That's my belief, that we are guided. Absolutely believe that.
When you, in your quiet moments, when you think about your blackness, your womanness, your femininity, what is going through your mind? What are you thinking about?
Well, it's complex. I mean, clearly, I look in the mirror. I mean, okay, so I take one of these DNA tests, and it's like, you're 50% this and 50% that, and it's like, well, I can look in the mirror and know,
Yes.
But what does that mean? Because my parents aren't white and their parents aren't white. So what does this mean? Like, the family is all, it's all mixed up. So, and that has a particular, we are of a Jamaican context, okay? And that culture is unique in its own way. And it's hybrid, and it's, syncretized. It's all those things. So we have a particular story. And I just think that though the dominant presence, however, to me, at least in my life, is the Africanness. And I don't know why, because some people don't feel that way. Some people may lean more towards the European side. That's fine. That, to me, has been what has spoken to me and inspired me and guided me into all these directions. So whoever it is from however long ago is that person. They got to be African, because I don't know. I don't even know some of the places I end up. I'm like, how did I end up over here? And it's just what I'm drawn to. It's what I'm drawn to.
Who did you write Gathering the Waters for?
Well, for me, I write for this is just an extension of me. This is me talking about my life. I think it's pretty, I think it's useful, and if people like it, great, and they want to use it in the syllabus, that's great too.
So you just invite the rest of us for a trip?
Because that's all we do. Singers, ultimately, they like to hear themselves sing. Painters, they're going to paint anyway, and writers are the same. I'm not like, you don't go looking for an audience, but obviously it's this like schizophrenic thing. It's like you're writing for yourself, but you want to share it with others, but it gives you pleasure though. I have to say, when I'm writing, especially, like with poetry, I just fall in love with like a really good poem that I've written, and I just read it over and over again. I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's really good. Okay. And that's why it's so easy to memorize, because from my perspective, it's already in your head. So you just wrote it down, You just have to dig it out. It's already in there. Everything is in there. Our whole lives are excavating inside of us, taking this, like, what's in there, what's in there, what's this, what's that.
About this intimacy you have with writing. This intimacy you develop with words and phrases and the sentence. What is that like?
Well, I love the Jamaican language, and it's so colorful, and we have so many, and Caribbean in general, we have just so many. It's poetry in itself.
It is.
It is pure poetry.
Give us a flavor.
And in my head, my Jamaican accent is much more believable than, but you hear an accent, but I didn't grow up in Jamaica, so I don't know. I mean, I just think about people like Louise Bennett, Miss Lou, and I think what she did with language. It's just.
If you were to share with us one of your spoken word minute or so, what would you tell us tonight?
Okay, I will share with you a poem called "I Am the Caribbean."
I am the Caribbean. Go ahead.
In the belly of a ship named for supposed nobility, I came this way. From low-caste Bombay to Chinese-built railway, I came this way. From Irish town here, poor as the one back there, I came this way. I became that jigsaw piece floating on the archipelago, too enmeshed to go beyond the gravity of my being. I am the Caribbean, a sweltering pool of disjointed life, every day remaking, reshaping itself into an electric rhythm, skipping from Bata to Tassa to Nyabingi, weaving through me, making me that kumina sound, that pan melody, that flute in the hills, that shack that brings back, that sound of conviction, a personhood fought for, the independent ardor that we bled to see. I came to be that diasporic medley calling me down to ride through this life, changing shape as I see fit. And though we may forget the names of spirit, we call them viscerally, to Trenchtown, Port-au-Prince, Port-of-Spain, concrete just the same, all repositories of potential energy and stilted memory. I am the Caribbean.
I wish I just, oh my gosh, that is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow. Shortlisted for the Small Acts Literary Competition. Why write about things Caribbean? I mean, it's almost silly to ask you this question.
But people ask you this question. My mother asked me that, like, what do you know?
Why themes and concerns?
Because I suppose it's the largest. Okay, on the one hand, it's unfinished business, right? So you get pulled away from someplace at a very young age. Mm-hmm. I think it's traumatic. Like, whatever had to happen. But you have childhood memories. This is your formative years, and then you're not there anymore. And then you're in New York, and it's freezing, and your family's trying to like make things happen, and So and then I would go back and get glimpses, and it would jog my memory to visit my grandmother, and I was just so happy because you're a child, and everybody's loving you and taking care of you, and the whole community is there, and the food, the weather, everything. And so those things impacted me. It's like I had to get my injection of it because I spent most of my time in the cold, over here. And I loved growing up in New York, don't get me wrong. But also, the thing is, though, people tended to identify me as Caribbean. And, like, people identify you and then they say, well, this is you. This is Jamaican. And so I'm like, well, that's who I am. I better understand myself and my context. And because even in school, people, the kids know you different from African American kids, and the way you say things or things you do. And we're not that different, but it's enough of a difference that that was my identity. And then in your household, that's just where you grew up. All your family's around. That's who you're around. And so you see people in the context too of why they are here in America. And a lot of my work deals with that because growing up, that was the lens through which I saw people, why they were in America. It's different. I'm sure I've had a different point of view if I grew up in Jamaica, But everybody here is just like striving for something and not always succeeding. And then you as a child, you don't know, like, well, why didn't we just, stay over there? You don't understand what's going on.
Yes.
you don't understand the push factors, not just,
Not as opposed, but you're supposed to be bringing a book out, releasing a book in December. What is the name of it, and can you talk about it?
Well, I can talk about it. It's another poetry collection. I'm not sure of the name yet. I was calling it Music of the Spheres.
Oh.
But I have to think about it, whether that's the best title. I don't know yet. But the idea, you know about the music of the spheres, right? Of that concept of celestial bodies
Yes.
make music, and this whole concept of bringing together that kind of cosmic with the mundane.
Well, why not that name?
I don't know, maybe that's the name. But this book is going to also contain some of my original line drawings, which are abstract. They're just abstract. I call them doodles. I've been doodling these little doodles, and my husband, my friends, they're like, these are beautiful, So, and then even the publisher, she's like, we got to put these in the book. So I don't know what the doodles are, but apparently they go with the poetry. And so this book is going to be more visual, I would say, an object in itself. So that's the goal for that. A piece of art, you see. That's what we're doing. So
you are this spoken word artist, and you're standing on stage in front of this sea of expectant faces. And what are you thinking before you utter the first word?
Not much, I mean, the thing about literature and poetry is that you don't usually get a rowdy bunch of people, right? So you can, unless it's a slam, that's a different kind of energy. And I used to slam a little bit, but it's really not my nature to compete. It's just I just want to relax. I don't want to be in a competition, right? But I've done it. You got to try everything. Slamming is like being on the Apollo. You just don't know if the people are gonna like it, but generally they won't boo. But definitely the readings I've done, you already can guarantee that the audience is gonna be civil. The worst thing I have to worry about is if they seem bored or whatever. But I don't really think about it. I just go out there
and do you,
and I do me, and I just do it. I just have confidence. That's it. You got to give them.
Do you still get nervous?
I do get nervous, yeah. Especially, I did a show at the New York Historical Society. I was one of the main features, and it was in conjunction with an art exhibition on social activism. Mm-hmm. And it was a packed house. That was a little nerve-wracking, but people loved it. I did a show at my alma mater, Syracuse University, in a big auditorium and with a jazz band, and that was, but I did it. My shoes looked beautiful. They really were uncomfortable. They were just gorgeous, though, but they hurt. I had to look good, But, so, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's you get nervous, but I've never had a bad reaction from anyone, Never,
Is it possible to share with us another poem?
Of course. But of course, that's why we're here.
Thank you.
All right, let me see. I'm going to read this one. Called Mask. Here it goes. Do not remove your mask here, my sister, not yet. There's too much unraveling left to do. So many becomings hinging on your memory of you. And every oil rig and chemical disguised as food, every antipsychotic fed to babies, every sterilized womb, every somebody grateful they weren't born as black and brown as you. Every single one of them is a blessed lightning bolt, waking your heart to its black hole, pulling together your shattered pieces to reassemble the monolith that is you, blasted to pieces when they all became two. For them that cut cane, tie bowls around the canoe, pull sweetgrass into baskets, give lyrics to the blues, sing cantos to orishas, make bombs out of houseplants, turn tears into flamenco and put the swaying belly dance, I say to you, stand your ground, adorn your countenance, become a legend but meet the people where they are. Because this dream is a westbound train heading for a cliff, a race from panic calling itself progress, so be the honey music that bends the track. alters the course, and bury the earth's heartbeat in the back room of their minds. Lure them to the dance of their existence through the bacchanal of your smile. Don't think, simply be. Don't look for the answer in any four walls. Prove there are no walls, and lay out your best peacock feathers, cowrie shells, white lace, overproof rum for the journey, the path, el camino, this trip that you chip down the roads of creation to the percussion of your hips. Grow away from the circles of madness, but keep your wings concealed, lest the people startle and kill the premonition that is you, a template for the real. Your kindness must be well-aimed, pedestrian, conjured through hugs and verse, squeezed through fingers unafraid of dirt. Your words must ride the trends, flow parallel to party music, and fill the spaces of silence that punctuate the noise of living. So wear this body out, girl. Let it earn its breath. Die awake if you dare, if you're lucky, if you can see. Recreate our forgotten home from the blueprint of your secret name. We're waiting on you to change the game. Thank you.
What is one thing about you people are surprised to learn when they get to know you?
What are they surprised to learn? You know what? I think probably there's a perception that I'm very serious, but I'm really funny. And the people who know me know that. I guess probably I can look a little serious, or maybe too serious sometimes, but I'm not that serious.
Who are some black women you admire and respect?
Oh man, there's a lot.
I know. I'm unfair, am I not?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Sonia Sanchez is up there, Lucille Clifton, Maya Angelou. There's a lot of young poets in my circle, J.P. Howard, Akiri Talley, Cheryl Boyce Taylor. So many people who are just doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You just do it because you love it. This is what we do.
What makes you write? What inspires you to write, I should say?
Well, I'm always right. I have tons of draft emails in my phone because it's just my observations about things, Yeah, I wrote one today. Maybe I'll read it for you.
Yeah, please.
Let me see. Where's my phone? Hold on. Let me see. I was thinking, that we look back a lot to like ancient wonders, and we think that people are so different from us. And the thought came to me, I'm gonna find it. That we are them, right? So people are the same. You just have to. I'm gonna find it, but ask me some more questions.
Oh, sure. If you were to eavesdrop your parents telling a stranger about you, let's start with Mom first. What would she say? How would she describe you?
See, Keisha, she in the black business. She's so radical. And tell her to watch what she write on the internet. People can see that, my mama just, I'm sharing New York Times articles. They're not like,
Somebody in the chat room
into this thing.
Right here said, draft emails, love it.
Yeah, it's like.
I like that.
Let me see, I'm going to find this poem for you. Wait, I think I know what I did with it. I love this little phone. I write everything on here. But no, my parents would say, my mom, what they would tell you. They would say, I'm extremely determined. And that's a word that comes up a lot. Like, I am so determined. I don't give up. If I want to do something, I'm going to see it through to the end. And, that has helped me and it has harmed me because sometimes I don't know when to give up. Like, sometimes you have to just admit defeat. Like, I don't like to lose. That's the problem. And sometimes pride will keep you in situations that you really need to move on from.
Are you ever lazy to write?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would get you out of that mindset or that space.
You know, when I have my MFA from City College in fiction, and you know, you're writing a thesis. It's like 150 pages. You know, you gotta write it. And part of the reason I enrolled in that program was that I wanted to give myself a structure to write this novel. And it's still a thesis. It's still in draft form, but it's all on paper. Like it wasn't there before.
Okay.
It was in my head.
Okay.
And even that, probably have to throw the whole thing out. But at least you know, like, because that first one is awful. It's always awful.
Yeah.
But it's out there. And now I have, based on reading that, I have a better idea of what I want to do. You know? Yeah.
Can you share with us an experience or the experience you had with a poem you just had to write?
Oh, yes. This is a good story. So, I'm big into my dreams. That's probably cultural too.
Yeah.
But you know, we love to interpret our dreams.
Of course.
You know, like it's so funny. You know,
Why are you looking at me so direct?
yes, because if your grandmother dream about fish, she's gonna have a conversation with you. Juicy fish last night. So anyway, I had a dream, and there's like a recurring character in one of my dreams. It's this woman, this tall woman. And sometimes she has, and I'm not kidding, sometimes she's wearing like African garb and sometimes not. And I don't know, but this person I've seen a few times in my dream talking to me. I don't even remember, but I had this dream one night, and you know, I was home the next day. I didn't go into work. I just, you know, took a mental health day. I was like, I don't feel like going. And I woke up and I remembered the dream, and I said out loud, I said, well, so I wrote this poem, okay? I wanted to write a poem, and I said, well, if I'm going to write about you, you got to tell me your name. And so this name pops into my head, Adisa. And I was like, I don't know anybody with that name. Yeah, I wrote the poem. It got published in a reputable journal and everything.
Really?
And then later on, I looked up the name. I was like, well, what does his name mean? And it's like a Yoruba name for one who listens well. And I was like, this lady in my dream, she's just like straight up. I said, what's your name? So then I was like, okay, I need to ask more questions, like more direct questions, because I mean, the dreams were very vivid, and it was always in times of like, I didn't know what to do, and this person shows up, and she wasn't always nice, you know. She was critical of it. She was like another mother. And I was like, who is this woman bossing me around in my dreams? I'm supposed to be dreaming now. Tell me what to do. So then I said, okay, I got you, you know. And she's appeared, you know.
You're coming back sometime for us to chat on this program. You know, this is a whole different dimension.
And you know what's the freaky thing about that? When I looked up the name, it's one thing, right? But that kind of coincided with one of those DNA tests I did, because I said, okay, my mother's mother's mother, I need to know, like, what's the ancestry, you know? And it came back like Yoruba, like 99%. And like, I thought that was kind of, well, I shouldn't think it's odd for Jamaica, but I thought, you know, Jamaica's mostly like Akan, and you know, I don't know. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Speak to us.
Interesting. I said, now this is not a coincidence.
You know, I remember waking up one morning, and when I woke up, I just woke out of a dream, and I shouted this name, right, this word. When I looked it up, it's a city, it's a village in Nigeria. I was like, what the? Can't remember the name.
Did you write it down?
I'm sure it's written down somewhere, but I can't remember. But it's a place in Nigeria. Yeah. And anyway.
No coincidence.
No, yeah.
I can't find that poem. I'll maybe find it for you later.
When are you most happy?
When am I most happy? I don't. I mean, like, I do love socializing and everything, right? But I also like being alone. And like really being able to like deeply penetrate my thoughts and like really get into a particular subject. And I can get a little, this is what my mother means by determined, because she means obsessive. Like I can get a little, if I get on a topic, I can really like be fixated on it, and it's not good. Like you have to say, okay, now you have to eat, you have to stop, you know. Yeah.
Headaches come.
Yeah, it's like, to the point where I can't sleep, especially if I'm writing. Like I was up writing last night. There's a piece I'm working on, and I needed to sleep, but I was into it. I was having fun.
What are you most proud of?
Well, my children. I'm very
Yes,
proud. I
yes.
mean, clearly they're geniuses. They are, and they are multi-talented. They can sing, they write poems, they draw. They're amazing, amazing.
What are you most thankful for?
You know, obviously family and stuff, but I would say the ability to perceive certain things. But yeah, because
I like that.
yeah, because some people really can't. They just don't see like what's going on around them. They are not self-aware. Self-aware. I try to be self-aware. I try not to be too full of myself or anything, but also have confidence. You gotta have a balance, right?
Yes.
But some people you meet and they have the same problem for 20 years and they're talking to you and you're not, and I don't waste my energy with people like that. You're just not getting through to them because they're not self-aware and the same things keep happening. You gotta look at yourself.
I agree. If you were to go back in time, if you could go back in time, what would you tell your 15-year-old self?
This involves men. Stay away from that guy.
Stay away from them.
Do not go out with that guy.
Not here.
You will write essays about that guy. Stay away.
And the last question.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you laugh out loud?
You know what? I love Nollywood movies. And I love like Caribbean drama. Like that's when I really, really laugh.
Because
we are just so like, or if you watch Rockers or the movie Rockers or whatever, anything. It's just like because we're so creative.
Oh yes.
And it's just hilarious. It's just like that's a real, real, real laugh because that's just like ridiculous stuff.
Keisha, thank you.
Thank you. This was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And this is Selwyn Collins saying, thank you for listening. Good night. Fear not what fear whispers to you. Fear your obedience to it. Good night.